Well, thank you. I really didn't know that, sure. I guess because in the essence of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent, the one who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, the one who made time to see that the universe, known among the ancient Kemites as Amun-Ra and Aton, among the Hebrews as Ansof, Yahweh, Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims in the Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribe as Olodumare, Obatala, and many other Orisha gods. But I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one, Almighty God. And it is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, those children of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are that lost 13 tribe, born here in North America. And we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you in the ancient but yet holy words of peace in the languages of our fathers, of Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Abarigani, Alafia, Ashe. Many different languages of our fathers. I greet you in peace. Welcome, welcome to the Toma Nation, aka Temple of Mercy Association. We are located 616 East on 71st Street here in Chicago, Illinois. Coming to you live on Facebook and probably YouTube, as we've been doing now for about maybe just a little bit before COVID, wasn't it? When we started, maybe during COVID, but whatever. Welcome anyway, Facebook fans and friends and all them other good things y'all call each other. I'm going to continue my subject on the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, President General of the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, which I am a member, and you should become a member too. You should have 2 memberships. All those who are watching me on Facebook, it should be with the UNIA and the TOMA. If you don't have 2 of those in your pocket or in your wallet, well, you might get in trouble. You see, if you have those, now I'm not going to even go there because I'm going to wait. I was about to talk about a person that y'all going to hear me talk about anyway. It's not really a person, a race. But I'll keep letting you know, get this book, Race First, an Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, written by Tony Martin, and the philosophies and opinion of Marcus Garvey, compiled by his wife, Amy Garvey. You need both of those books, especially if you are a nationalist. If you're not a nationalist and you're a black man or black woman in America, you need to know what it's all about. If you're happy with how you're being treated or respected or disrespected, then don't worry about it. But if you want a way to stand tall and look your enemies or your oppressors in the face and be proud of who you are, then study your race. If you want self-esteem, you cannot get it until you first get race esteem. Knowing who you are, whose you are, why you're here, your relationship to nature and what's natural on this planet. Knowing that we, as a people, brothers and sisters, came with the earth. And that's why when they dig and dig and dig, they continue to dig and find something that goes back further and further and further. They'll be digging for an eternity because you cannot find our beginning. All you know is that the earth has been here 66 trillion years. Some say 78 trillion. But when you get into the trillions, 1 trillion is a lot. So if we've been here 66 trillion or 78 trillion, nobody can dispute it because you don't even live to be 100. So who's here to dispute it? So we came with the earth. That's the information I had as a people. And Marcus Garvey said, Africa for the Africans, at home and abroad. He also said, wherever Africans reside on this planet, that's Africa. Now, I understand what he means because in Masonry, when you're in the lodge, wherever the WM sits, that is the East. And so from that type of perspective, he's saying, if the earth is ours, wherever we are as Africans, that's Africa. So I understand what he meant by that. And the thing is, I want us in America, and you can challenge me on this, to understand first your history and then find out who you are now. The black man and woman in America born here who are descendants of slaves are not Africans. We're not Africans. Yes, our lineage is Africa. Yes, mostly, I would say anybody or any race that ever was in this world, the origin was over in Africa. So they all can say our origin is from Africa. But I'm saying that through the process of the transatlantic slave trade, a new race of black people were created here in America that we call the Lost 13th Tribe. And we have the blood of all the nations of the world flowing through our veins, which makes us very unique. See, now the Africans look down on us and they feel like because we have mixed blood, we're not pure or we're not, original, so to speak, But I'm saying that if all the blood of the nations of the world flow through us, that means everybody else can die out and just keep us here and we can bring y'all niggas back. You didn't think about that, did you? Sorry I said niggas, but just, you do niggly thoughts, I have to speak like that. So I think that's powerful. I think that's one of the most powerful things that you can have in your possession is the ability to bring every race back on this planet. Every race. All the nations of the world flow through our veins. See? So I want to read a little bit of Garvey because while we're live, I know that there are a lot of people who still don't know who Garvey is. Even when you look at him on YouTube, you really need to understand what's going on. Because J. Edgar Hoover, the guy who they named the headquarters of the FBI building after, he became notorious and famous by going after Marcus Garvey. And he was just a young man in his mid-20s. And he was over what they called at that time, it wasn't the FBI, it was called the Justice Department. And he chose to target Garvey because Garvey was making it difficult for the Negroes to kiss up to the white man. Told you I was going to say it eventually, didn't I? I can't talk about our situation, leave the white man out. Once the Jews show me they can talk about the Holocaust and leave the Jews out, I'm going to keep doing what I do. But anyway, this white man, he started something called COINTELPRO, which means Counterintelligence Program. And the same way they upgraded it today, they use texting to do it. What they do is disseminate information that causes division among the different groups that J. Edgar Hoover had targeted as a threat to national security. When you're talking nationalism and doing for self, people like the Black Panther Party and all, you become a threat to this race of people here in America. So he chose Garvey to start that type of a campaign. Way back, he practiced it on the Garvey movement, and he did it among them because their branches were spread out so far and wide. And brothers and sisters, we talking 1918, 1920. There was no television. Don't y'all know that? TV came out in the 40s. They only had radio. If they wasn't at a baseball game or a basketball game, they were listening to it on the radio. People would come home and sit around the radio, and then they would have an announcer announcing everything and making it look good so you can imagine what happened. So everybody was around the radio. They didn't have, when did the airplane start with those brothers? What year? Somebody look it up. Because I don't believe they had airplanes at that time in 1918. Check it out and let me know once you find it. So why am I saying this? I'm saying here's a man had 4 million followers without Facebook. Here's a man that had 4 million followers without Twitter, YouTube, or any other social media that we're dealing with. All he had at his disposal was the mail, sending the mail out to all the people. He had a mail room, and he had his own newspaper. And he mailed his newspaper across the waters all the way into France. 4 million followers. He was dangerous because he was saying that this is our land and Africa is our land. If you want to go to Africa, we're going to get steamships. Those who want to stay, plant your feet where you are and build. That's what he was saying. Such a small man in stature. But yet, one of the wisest, one of our black brothers that ever existed to do what he did. But yet, even up until now, when we ask people, do they know who he is? It's still people don't know who Garvey is. The group that was here with Pastor V, that's the first thing I asked them. Say, can anybody raise their hand if you've heard of Marcus Garvey? No hand went up. And that was about 10, 15 years ago when we first did it with 100 youth. And none of them knew who Garvey was. But one person raised their hand, and that person talked about the school over. What did he say? 1903 is the airplane? It was the first successful one because it was the Wright brothers, right?
Yeah.
The first successful one was 19.
Yeah, first successful power airplane, the 1908 Wright flyer.
1908. Okay. So they had airplanes, but they had boats or ships, no submarines. And this man.
I'm sorry, 1903.
1903. Thank you. Now, let me read a little bit because it's 12:42, and if I don't read some of this, I would do a disservice to those who don't have the book. Okay. There was an attempt on Garvey's life, October 1919. He was fast approaching the peak of his career. He had his closest escape from an untimely death. Several shots were fired at him by one George Tyler, two of which found their mark. Two of the bullets hit. The wounds were minor, however. Tyler died mysteriously, supposedly jumping to his death from the cell where he was awaiting a court appearance. It was widely suspected that he planned to implicate others in his assassination attempt. All right, I'll let y'all figure out what could have happened. The year 1920 witnessed the first international convention of the Negro people of the world, organized by Garvey. At the opening session at Madison Square Garden in New York in 1920, an overflow crowd of 25,000 filled the arena and spilled out into the street. The other sessions that took place in Liberty Hall in Harlem. Again, I believe he should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. Most conventions last 7 days. Majority. His started on the 1st of August to the 31st. Now, if you got a convention last that long that you know of, let us know. But Garvey should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. At the opening session, I mentioned the overflow crowd. He had delegates who came from all over the Black world. They adopted the Declaration of Rights of the Negro people of the world. This declaration listed the main grievances of our race and demanded their resolution. Notice was served on European colonists that the Black man had an inherent right to possess himself of Africa, regardless of the claims of any other race or nation. All right, by 1921, Garvey was unquestionably the leader of the largest organization of its type in the history of the race. He had succeeded as no one else had in gathering up the worldwide feeling of dismay at the loss of independence and defiance against colonialism and oppression, which characterized the new Negro spirit of that age. The United States government, and I didn't make a mistake, was against him because they considered all Black radicals subversive. European governments were against him because he was a threat to the stability of their colonies. The communists were against him because he successfully kept Black workers out of their grasp. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and other integrationalist organizations were against him because he argued that white segregationists were the true spokesman for white America, and because he in turn advocated Black separatism. You see, you heard that? That was before the nation did. His organization also had to contend with unscrupulous opportunists, this is from among us, who were not above sabotaging its workings for personal gain. Do that sound like it's still happening today, or is that just, it stopped in 1920, you think? Every day? If you ever get the book Race First, you'll see where it shows all the different branches in the United States. On the other page, all the different branches in other countries. And I mean Cuba, Panama, Trinidad, Costa Rica, tells how many branches in each one. In Cuba, 52 branches. Panama, 47 branches. 30 in Costa Rica, all along the coast. Here in America, Louisiana, Virginia, North Carolina. The highest was 74 branches in Louisiana. Indiana, Illinois, 23. 23 branches. See, and if we wanted to pattern after that, the UAPA could have a division